think we're in. So, man. All right, here we go. What's
I'm
up,
ready, Greg.
everybody? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode. I'm your host, 65 Lokes. This is episode number 256. Very excited because we're interviewing and bringing back one of our homies and longtime guests all the way from Australia, Casey, also known as Slowly Models. What's up, Casey? How you doing?
Good man, good. How are you? I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. I mean, you've been in the chat room, previous live things, for some of the people that don't know you, but obviously there's a lot of homies that know you that are there. And I mean, it's just been time, man. It's been time we've been wanting to lock down, catch up and lock down an episode.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's been really great
so
to see the lives and all the content that you're doing, the build hangouts and all
right
that
on,
stuff.
man.
The
Yeah, appreciate you joining us. And right now, we're starting these Tuesday nights, weekly episodes, 10 p.m. And what's the time for you out there right now in Australia?
3 p.m. I'm on the East Coast, so it's the perfect time for me. The sun's still out and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Nah, thank you, man. Because yeah, at first I was a little worried, like, man, I don't know if this is like you're asleep or what's going down, because I know you're ahead of time from us. So this definitely works. Let me pop into the on YouTube real quick. I just want to make sure that I'm locked in on here too. That way, I could kind of navigate through some of the comments. So shout outs to Modelcars 1589, who's joining us right now in the chat room. Also Eddie, he's on also here. Dang, what up? What up? And yeah, if you guys have any questions, further on throughout the podcast, just hit us up there on the comments on YouTube, and then we'll I'll go back in there at some point and look back at some of the stuff that we got right there going and ask away. So all right, man. So lately, Casey, I've been seeing your different posts of stuff. You got like you're across the board, everything from like 3D printing, building your own models, dioramas, the AK interactive markers. There's just like
Yeah,
so much. How do you do it, man? How do you carry on that well balance between everything?
I don't. There's no effort that goes into it. It's just like just chasing whatever, like a dog chasing a car. I'm just whatever's interesting, just go in that direction, and that's kind of. I'm not here to like complete a whole shelf full of like builds or anything like that. I kind of love the process and just jumping between things. Those markers, they just pushed everything else out of my brain for like a week because I thought they were so cool. They work so well, and it's just jumping from thing to thing. It's just my jam. Like it's called model building, not model finishing. But then again, it's also not called model start everything and never finish anything. So yeah, no, it's just kind of I don't know. It's just kind of my jam to kind of jump from thing to thing and just kind of I don't know, engage with people and talk to people, see what they're excited about, and kind of try new stuff. It's there's too much out there to kind of stick to one thing. I think that going from more American cars to the JDM stuff to you've done some like European style VWs like with white chocolate stuff. And it's I don't know, there's just too much out there to discover. To stick to one thing. I can't do it. I'm too eclectic. My brain moves in too many directions at the
Yeah.
same time.
It's a trip with those AK markers, man, the AK Interactive, because I was never using them. I really wouldn't even be able to even tell you like when they came out and everything, when they dropped. I almost feel, when we were talking about this, we feel like they had dropped and they had been out there in a while, but you know, I didn't really see anybody like using them or anything. And as soon as I started to like come across the three packs for like the wheels, the
Yep.
tools, the tactical, and all this stuff. Obviously there's a lot more like military related stuff or Warcraft kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, these ones say wheels, and I saw a video and it showed someone, painting wheels for like 3D printing and whatnot, right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
started
yeah.
Well, sometimes, it's easy to rattle can, but sometimes it could be late at night or whatever. You don't have the time to go do that. So why not just bust out some markers where you want it to dry and to look a little bit more of that like natural, like matte finish and not look too glossy, like a shiny, like if you clear coated a tire, like, how crazy. And, it was one of those things like once I started getting them in and trying them out, I think I bought like one pack, like I just to test it out. And after that, I was like, yo, these are dope. So I just started bringing in, certain ones, and then little by little started just like being like, all right, whatever, let's get the whole catalog, like the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Why
yeah,
not?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they have so many of them now, and I got a bunch of them like right here in within. Oh no, they disappeared. Hang on, within arm's reach. The real colors are like they're a lot thinner, like the play markers for like Warhammer and stuff. That's like the metallic set. It's really handy, but they're a lot like goopier, sort of for like more glossy style stuff and smaller stuff. And the real color ones are a lot more. I don't know. They dry a lot. They shrink more. So like doing more coats of them to get an even finish is really good. But like you say, it's good for if you don't want that glossy look and stuff because AK is like the weathering company, I think they call themselves. So like for war stuff and diorama stuff, that randomness of like it's not perfect, it really suits the how the products work best. But yeah, no, they're perfect for like one tiny little thing that you have to paint, like a fitting for an engine or something, and you're like, I don't want to get out my paintbrushes and I don't want to turn on the airbrush, and I just pop the cap and blah, done. They're great. I love them. I'm totally team markers. They're just so good. They're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, before those markers, the ones I was using a lot was the ones from what is it? I don't know if it's no, it's Bandai. The all the Gundam markers.
Oh yeah, I think I have some like right here.
The
Oh,
Mecha.
these ones.
It's yeah, those ones, yeah, the Gundam ones. Um, those were the ones
Yeah,
we
these
were
are pretty
using
good.
for a minute, and I still have mine. Like I just haven't busted them out. But if anything, the black marker was the one. I lie, guys. I haven't busted out. It's right in front of me. I actually did on one of the live streams, but this is the single one, the single
Right.
marker.
Okay. Yeah. Is that like
Um,
the fine liner, the
Yeah,
really
but
small one?
I do have the pack, like the one you got right there. But these, you shake them up, they got a little marble in there. But these aren't acrylic, and I mean they do dry pretty nice and stuff, but the other ones, I mean, they're pretty sick, if you guys
They are.
haven't
Yeah.
tried those
Yeah. I
out.
think the difference I think between like the Gundam ones, man, it keeps disappearing. Like Gundam markers have like a hard tip on them. You know how you press them down. Um, and the tip isn't like a Sharpie. You know how they're like felt, sort of like they got some squish to them. These ones I feel like they have kind of a plasticky end to them, which is great for putting on lots of paint in a big kind of one big sploosh. But these ones have like a brush tip, like a paintbrush. You know how they bend, and the real color markers, they're kind of like in between, like they're a brush tip like Sharpie. So it's got some press to it, and you can kind of control how much like paint is glooping off the tip by how hard you press them down. But everything has its use. Like I'm glad to have all these. Like they all have a really specific use. Um, and it's perfect because like there's not like there is oodles of paint hanging around because I also have paint. But like if I was just starting out and I was kind of intimidated or I didn't want a whole bunch of jars of paint hanging around, marker products are like perfect. You could do a whole car build from them, save for probably the body, which you might want to use a rattle can for. But yeah, we're covered in the hobby. We're spoiled. There's too much stuff to try.
Yeah, like a lot of the times when I see you build your dioramas, you're building everything from the ground up. Even like adding like the little details, the bushes, and all this different stuff, the weathering on the vehicle. And I see you use a lot of the AK Interactive. I also see Cam using a lot of AK Interactive stuff for his weathering. And I mean, it seems like AK Interactive holds it down with a lot of very they have the line is so extensive, right? For weathering that to me I feel like it's a bit intimidating. Like I wouldn't even know where to start. Like for someone trying to jump into that, whether they're rusting a car or anything, trying to
Yeah.
create like even just the ground, like the floor for the vehicle for a diorama, what would you recommend as far as like a starter kit? Because I know they have lots of different little kits too.
Yeah, no, they have so much stuff, and they've probably done starter kits before. Who knows? But what I would recommend is I'll try. I got it here. Hang on. Is these? Hang on. Then I'll put it on my face. It's these jars of goop. It's acrylic goop. It's not too stanky, um, and it's just really thick textured paint. And if you can like it's just yeah just paint with texture in it. Um, and you just put it on in one goopy layer and nice and thin and go from there. They have like this one here that I'm trying to put the lid back on really terribly. This is concrete, and they have. I'll try and reach them. No, that's rocks. Hang on. I have
Damn,
it right
my
next to me.
bad. I'm like, dang, I'm
No,
just
it's
making you
cool.
pull out everything right now.
It's that's what it's there for. But they also have this is railroad ballast. You know the rocks that go like along railroads on them. These are great for like mixing with the goop. Um, and just getting a texture up and building a texture, and then you can just add washes. It's just goop, dry, washes, done, and like leaves and stuff. But yeah, I would definitely if you want to like start doing more diorama stuff, yeah, this stuff's really awesome. It's really user friendly, and they come in smaller like jars. They come in like one's half the size of this one that's turning invisible on me. They don't do that in real life. It's okay. It's just Zoom. You won't lose them. But yeah, absolutely. Just start with a base, and then maybe put some cork down so you can like dig into it and like make and all that like make divots and all that sort of fun stuff, and just put the goop on, and then paint it with like washes or whatever you use to paint. And I try not to use real stuff, but when I say real, it's like I don't want to go into my garden and get dirt because I don't know what's in it. Sort of stuff. It's like it's not neutral. But with the stuff that AK stuff that they sell, yeah, you're guaranteed consistency with it. But rocks and stuff out of the garden's fine, But other than that, I don't want like bugs crawling out of my models that I'm trying to build off really bad. But yeah, goop. Goop is the way. It will save the world. And
That's
there's
pretty
lots of different
cool.
kinds.
Yeah, because I see I've seen those jars before online and also at some of the local hobby stores. And then also there's those AK bottles. They're like in white, these little tiny ones. I'm assuming those are for brushing onto for like is it for rusting the
Oh,
vehicles?
I have that set. Ha! I have it right here, like right at my um bench. You mean this one? Hang on. I don't know if you can see it or if it's the right way around.
Yeah, I
But
see it. Can you bust out one of those bottles?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's iron paint. Hang on. It's like that's like paint with like iron in it, made with lots of iron, and this is like the rusting catalyst. So if you saw on the chassis or the engine bay of the Corvair I did, how it looked all like rusty and rotten, that's this stuff. Um, you just like that's very goopy to paint. I don't want to touch it because it's like got metal in it, and I'll probably like pick my eye. So I don't want to like open it up. But yeah, it's like a real rust thing, and it changes state. You can see it rusting like every couple of minutes. If you put it on and go away for 5 minutes and come back, it'll look completely different. It'll be a different color. Um, and you can like layer it up and put washes on it and that sort of thing. But yeah, they do like lots of. This is just a big ad for AK, isn't it? They they do a lot of sets like that. And for model cars, it's really useful for like chassis and stuff like that. But yeah, they have so much stuff. I like their moss, which comes in little jars like that, but they have a white cap. That might be what you're thinking of. Um, it's just moss, just sawdust, I think, just colored sawdust. But yeah, no, there's just so much stuff to use, and it's like the most fun you can have with it is not worry too much about it and just make a mess. All the most fun happens when you just make a big mess, you know. Um, it's just great. But yeah, no, good stuff, AK.
Yeah, because I'm always like, thinking, all right, one day I want to do like a diorama for the cars. Because for the most part, we putting a lot of work into the cars, but then sometimes I see like the displays that Armando does, that George does with his friends, and I'm always like, man, it just enhances the atmosphere with the car, or even the guys out in Spain, Eternals. You see
Yeah.
their dioramas, and you're like, it's just you get blown away. And I like the ones you do because you create them so they fit inside those cases, those 124, 125 scale cases.
Yeah,
Even
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the ones you've done for like 164 scale, like tiny little, or is it 124? I mean 164, or is it a different scale?
Yeah, the 164 like Hot Wheel scale, the I think I sent it
Mm.
to you, is the one with the red, like
Yeah.
86, I think it
Mhm.
is. I can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
where
yeah,
I
yeah, I
sent
got
it.
it. Yep.
But okay, cool. Now I know where it is. I completely forgot.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
no,
should do a little
like
short on it, like just showing people because it's dope. It's really cool.
it's lots of fun to do that because it adds narrative
Hmm.
to like like making the car is like telling the story of the model that you're making and adding a scene or something like that in a little display case. I make them to fit in the display case so like no dust gets on it because I don't want to have to clean them. I don't want to dust them because I like wipe off half the leaves and all that sort of stuff. It's too hard to clean. Um, but yeah, no, adding a narrative to a build, it's like it extends the build like 10 times. Well, if you take as long as I do to build anything, but there was that the 32 scale, the skyline, the gold one with the I don't know the show. I forget the show. It had those Itasha decals on it on one side, and I was looking in my display case and I was like, okay, that's kind of like glossy and kind of boring, and I felt like making a mess. So like it kind of just went from there. I like just made it all abandoned style, and it just added this narrative like who put that car there, how did it end up there, how long's it been there, where is it, sort of thing. I really get a jam out of that. It makes me happy, and now you've got all that space out there. It's the perfect excuse to like build a table and just have that as your set out. Like a container yard or a restaurant or something like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, like out here where I'm living at, there is it looks like a very vintage sign of the city, right? Of where I live. It's a green pole. I'll have to take a photo of it and show you. But at night, they have this really cool neon light. It kind of reminds me of like when Armando did the Peak Motel, and you know how you
Uh-huh.
helped
Yep.
him do that light like set up like the logo of the display of the hotel, that kind of lighting where it's like a really like I think it's like a blue, not LED, but it's like a really nice blue. It outlines everything. It looks beautiful. Um, Something like that is something that I'd be very interested in trying to like recreate like a little like a replica of in like in a 124 scale or 125th and things like that. Like I really like those very vintage signs because it almost looks like a timepiece, like either from like the 50s or the 60s.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it looks
Yeah,
dope.
there's
I'll,
there's
I'll
some
have
really
to.
nice brands.
Next time I drive through there, I'm gonna have to take a photograph and like post it on here, like in the community, so this way you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about when you see this right here. And
Yeah,
it,
it's
it
really
just
tempting
looks
to do
clean.
signs. There's some beautiful signs out there, especially for old motels. Like,
Mhm.
in I think it was like the 50s or the 60s, like the atomic age, where technology was exploding, back then, and they had all like, those stars and like the Jetsons and stuff like that, like that era. They had all sorts of signs like that. It's really tempting to like want to do that, but I know that I'll probably not finish them. If I just start a bunch of stuff and get obsessed, I'll do it halfway. But that sign sounds cool, LA sign. It'd be cool to like have it a show and people can take pictures of their models in front of it. and stuff like that. Like the storefront that you got from was it Eternals? Was it David
Yeah,
out there
from
in
David.
Spain?
Yeah. Yeah, I have that. I have
Yeah.
that in my room, like on display over there. But man, I need to bring it over here. I need to bring it to have it here in the bench because I already like move a bunch of stuff around, and now I have the proper space like for it. So I
Yeah.
definitely bring that. But I also need to weather it too. I need to, get it a little dirty, because it looks
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, put some life
pretty
into it.
clean.
Yeah, make it look lived in.
No, definitely. Hey, I want to shout out some people that are joining us right now
Cool.
on the comments here. So Kid Builder Chris, Vision 124, Luis Aguilar, Steve
Cool.
Courtney, Armando Flores, Scaled Innovations, Scale Modelcars. That's Ryan out in Hawaii.
Yep,
And
yep.
also, let's see here. We have Willie, Chili Willie, joining us as well.
Cool.
Dedicated Magazine, Willie right there. Uh, also 760 Toad Line, 124 Mob. You check in right there. And let's see. And then also, start who was here from the beginning right here, Model Car 1589. So thank you guys. If you guys have any questions, just drop a line on there and then I'll ask away later and throughout the podcast to Casey over here. But thank you guys for joining us.
Cool. Yeah,
And
hi everybody. Hi.
nah, hell yeah. Man, it's cool to see, stepping away from like the dioramas real quick. I know we're gonna come back to it. But you know, there's different builds that you're also working on. Did you had told me you had one that you hadn't posted yet. Do you want to show us that
Yeah,
build
yeah.
or is it more of a secret
Let me
build?
do the yeah, yeah. Not too secret, but yeah, I'll do the camera thing and like turn it around and get my
Okay.
lamp set
Yeah.
after I put away like, all the diorama stuff.
Yeah. Damn, I'll make you make a mess over there.
No, it's way less messy than it usually
Mhm.
is.
No,
Because
that's
I
all good, man.
actually cleaned it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
set
I'll
that.
let Casey start getting set up right here. So yeah, he was telling me he has like a model build that he hasn't posted any photos of that he wants to show us on here. So we'll get into that right there. Yeah, there's a lot of different builds across the board that Casey does. A lot of different styles. One of his models is out here in California. Right now, it's a Corvair that he had done for Armando's presentation. So that's out here. It's going to be doing its Southern California tour, pretty much being presented at different various shows, presented by Armando. And what we've posted some photos, but we'll have to keep you guys updated with some more photos regarding that build, so you guys can see right there. But yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. You got
Yeah,
the
it's like blocking off the camera.
Oh, I see. Maybe
Yeah,
right there.
so
That
I
looks
might
pretty.
have
That
to.
looks pretty good right there.
That look good, you reckon?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a cool angle. Yeah. Let's see. And then
Rightio.
I'll let you take it away. Once you got it on there, I'll let you speak so this way the camera gets more focused on that
Got
right
you,
there.
got you. I got the little turny thing.
Oh,
Wow,
sick.
that looked good. Hang on. Dip, dip, dip. Got to move it like further away but closer. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Oh, okay. I don't know how to. I'll just pick it up like that. There we go. Let's get the lighting set. All these markers out of the way. I hope that's not too loud how I'm like throwing stuff around. There we go. Okie dokie. Okay, I'm good when you are good. It's like kind of fish iron, but we can live with that.
Yeah, no, that looks great, bro. Go for it. Take it from here.
Okie dokie. This is the Aoshima or Aoshima, Liberty Walk, Murcielago, I think it is. I did it in kind of a Moon Eyes vibe. My good friend Daryl, sent me some masks that he had cut on his plotter for um, this shape logo. I thought it was really fun and cool, just because it's different from the usual Moon Eyes one, and the camera like really doesn't wanna. It doesn't want to today, but yeah, I 3D printed up some like solid wheels. and put BMF on them. And what else did I do? I didn't really do much else. Thank you for the help with the people that helped me with the number plate that's a bit hard to see. I was going to put a K car number plate on there. You know how the K car ones are yellow, but it didn't suit the yellow well enough. That's the only thing that stopped me putting it on, just to be a little turd. But the color I think is trainer yellow. It's kind of like a deeper yellow. I forget what brand, but it's one of the brands. And it's essentially box stock kit tires, kit hoops that I just painted in flat black. And this was inspired by George, Vision 124. He did a sweet 35 GTR in a Moon Eye style, and that's kind of the vibe I wanted to go for. Was slammed Moon Eyes might not necessarily be a lake car that goes dooting around, because you know the it would just sink with the big fat tires. It would just sink. Um, but yeah, and I weathered it up with some Hobby Mio. I think I don't even have it. Here we go. It's makeup for model cars. So pretty. I use the snow one, just for a bit of weathering. I'll put pictures on Instagram so you can see it a bit better than Zoom's making it seem. But yeah, definitely inspired by George. I did the engine cover. I did it covered it with BMF. It's really hard to see. I should have practiced, but yeah, just covered it in BMF and had to remake the top thing because I lost that. But yeah, essentially just a box stock build and nice and chill. And the undersides, I won't even show you the underside. It's not exciting. I didn't do anything on that, just box stock. But yeah, I definitely inspired by George. I'd love to see them posted up together on a table one day, if I'm ever over there or he's ever over here with the builds, because I think that'd be super fun. But yeah, that's that's done. That's another one to cross off the list, and hopefully my next Moon Eyes thing will be just as fun to build, because that went together really good. It's these new kits from Aoshima go together amazingly. I think you've got one on the bench, haven't you? On your
Yeah, I do have one. It's not the Murcielago, but it is one of the Liberty Walk Lamborghinis that I have too.
the
It's just in
Aventador
the
maybe.
primer stage right now that I need to work on that. But man, that thing's beautiful. As far as like the windows, you said you use BMF
Oh,
to cover
hang
up the
on.
windows?
No, on the engine cover. Um,
Oh, let's see.
Hang on, I'll get that out of the way. That's the engine cover little slat things. Are BMF. It's hard to see because of the lamps being all lampy. But yeah, since it's been, you can see it's a little shiny. They've got flat clear on it. And same with the wheels, they have flat clear on them. But it really just doesn't want to focus on any. You can see they're kind of shiny. Um, there's a little sheen on them. But yeah, I just figured it'll make it look less chunky. Um, there you go. You can see that a lot better when it's further away. Ironically, um, yeah, I don't know. Like some of the cars I saw um, from the lake style. Um, there you go. Kind of have they'll have unpainted aluminium bonnets and boots and stuff. So I just kind of wanted to see what that would look like, and I didn't want to paint it yellow because I forgot to paint them. I forgot to paint those parts. I'm like, oh, I don't want to turn on the airbrush, so I decided to BMF them, and it worked out fine. But no, for the windows, I just stopped caring about those. I didn't put any effort into the interior. I just clapped it together, because I don't know, interiors aren't that exciting to me, and I put flat clear on the windows. I was going to mask them off, but I'm like, then the white powder won't stick to the window parts to make them look a bit weathered. But yeah, I always tend to go a bit heavy on the weathering on the windows and forget. But honestly, I'm happy with that. It's kind of like if someone got a Lamborghini and they wanted to do car cosplay, dress up their car to look like something else. And this person wanted their car to look like a Moonrise car, which they did, and they could drive it around to meets and stuff like that, and dress up their car and have fun, um, in the style of Moon Eyes, not an actual kind of Moon Eyes car that would hit the lakes. But yeah, it was really fun, really super duper fun. I'm surprised no parts have fallen off it as I'm moving around, to be honest, because all of my builds seem to do that. But yeah, I'm really grateful for the help of my friend who did up the masks. And oh man, it's so shiny. Um, and George for the help, like with his, like being inspired by his build is taking a Liberty Walk kit and applying the Moon Eyes style to them. You can see some of the powder has come off because I haven't flat cleared over it. It's just an easy fix where I'm touching it, but yeah, it just make it look all Moon Eyes. Is was kind of the vibe of that, and it only took me like a year, which is a pretty quick build, for me. But yeah, that's that one. That was a really super duper fun build to do. Hang on, let me fix my lamp again now.
Yeah, yeah, go for it. No, that's dope, man. I really like it a lot. It just flows. It looks really good together. Maybe you'll send that one out here to the States
I
so we
would
could
love
all
to. That would be so cool. That would be awesome.
yeah, it's a trip because I have one of your RX sevens
Yeah,
too.
yeah. The orange one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have that one. And then Armando has your Corvair. So we'll have to, line those up one day at a show and bring them
Yeah,
out.
that would be super duper cool. Hang on, I forget how I did my camera. There
Yeah,
we
yeah,
go.
yeah. I'll let you set up real quick while you do that. But yeah, real quick, I want to plug in a couple shows. I'll bring them up right now. Let's see. The first one, this is one that's going down this year. This is going to be the WonderCon 2025 in the city of Oxnard. So this is September 7th, 2025, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Oxnard Performing Arts Center right there. And for this show, all right, guys. For this show, it's $10 admission and $3 entry fee per model. 3 entries per person per class maximum. Lots of free parking at the center. And if you guys have any questions or need to get in contact with somebody, you could always hit up Lou. It's C130jlou@yahoo.com. Or if anything, you could always hit me up on Instagram and I'll run that. I'll relay the message to him as well. I have mentioned it before, but I do plan on hitting Lou up to bring him on the podcast so we could, speak a little much further about, how this thing is coming together and how we look forward to. I will be there vending there at the show, and that's going to be September 7th, 2025, later this year. And then next year, also, I keep reminding you guys, don't forget about this one right here. This is the Left Coast Scale Classic that's going to be taking place next year, April 25th, 2026, at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. Also, a local show there in Ventura County. So that should be a fun one right there. And let's see here. Let me get you back set up right here slowly. So you know, we got these two shows coming up, and man, it's gonna be a fun one. I know Armando's gonna be out there vending. Let's see here. Let me see what I'm doing right here. Not vending. He's gonna be doing a presentation. I'll be out there vending for the most part. I know Armando always comes out to the shows to check. Let me see. All right.
There we go. I'm muted.
There we go. Dang. Yeah, I was like tripping. Why is the audio like tripping on your side? But we're good. All right, slowly. So as far as like I want to get into 3D printing because I know you've been in the 3D printing game for a long time.
Just a little
And
bit.
from what from what you knew then to what you know now, has a lot changed as far as like the advancement in the obviously the technology has advanced, but like is it getting easier to create stuff and get stuff, printed out?
Yeah, the printers are becoming a lot more user friendly. From the start, I think every time I've like spoken like publicly about 3D printing. I've been wrong every step of the way, and I love it. I said no, we probably won't see like full 3D printed kits and bodies, and they were probably about a month after I said that. I said no, we probably won't see 3D printed windows, like the technology's not there. About probably a month or the same time after that, people started printing windows that look perfect and all that. But so take what I say with a grain of salt, of course, because like I missed a wrong, but I love it being wrong about this stuff because it's getting way more user friendly. I think at the start, um, leveling the printer was quite difficult because the first like you know at home printers were not as like user friendly as they could have been at the time. But as time goes on and people learn and the company's like, okay, what's holding people back from printing? What's the most difficult part? Now you have self-leveling 3D printers and self-heated 3D printers to get the resin to the perfect temperature, and you have machines for curing and washing. It's more accessible than it's ever been. Of course, as with everything like with these technologies go. But I'm kind of on the precipice. My printer is the one just before they started doing this self-leveling and self-heating. Like, like when it's like the difference between like a car that you use for work and a car that you use for like weekend, like, you know, drives and like luxury. They're adding luxuries to the printers like bells and whistles, like they have this AI powered like failure protector and all that sort of stuff and laser guided like leveling and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it's way more accessible. I'll always be an advocate for people being able to make stuff at their home. So if you're wondering about a printer, definitely get one. That's don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. Just get one, and then the rest will sort out later. But I'm kind of biased about printing. Yeah, it's kind of to the stage now where, like, when I say this every time we've talked about printers, I think it's at the stage now where I think everybody should have one and be printing at their desks and kind of dipping their feet in to designing things because it's such a good feeling being able to design your own thing and you use it on your model and you're like, oh, I made that. It's like building a model on its own. You feel really good about it. And then when you see your own parts on it and then you see other people using your parts, it's oh man, it's such a good feeling. I hope you can get into 3D printing really soon because it's I don't know, it just Pandora's box just gets smashed into bits. And you're like, okay, this is like a whole new world, like Aladdin style. Uh, but yeah, I can't imagine what everyone is going to bring to 3D printing is going to be just as cool as the 3D printing itself. Um, because everybody has different ideas of what's cool, what they want to do, and I can't wait to see more and more people get into it and the crazy builds that people at least start if they're anything like me. you know, go the cycle of 3D print some wheels, do a mock up, move on to the next kit, sort of thing. But yeah, do you think you'll kind of get into it and now you've got the more space and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think I will definitely want to like dive like into it. If any, obviously I would do it more for myself, like to enhance my builds, to print out like the wheels that I want for this particular build, more at a like a slower pace, moving forward. Um, I definitely do have the space now. I just gotta just, I guess start putting all the pieces together and start figuring stuff out. I did want to shout out my homie Rudy because he hooked me up with the printer not too long ago, and
Really? Yep.
yeah, he hooked me up, and like I haven't even like because I don't know where to start. I haven't plugged it in or anything. I'm still like, all right, I got to get the materials, I got to get all this other stuff first and all that. But I do find it inspiring. I know one of my friends, Jerry, all the way in San Diego. He does a lot of builds, and he got a printer. And I remember him posting some stuff up as far as like, kind of like test printing. Like those early prints, just to kind of get the feel for. which sometimes you do see on Instagram, somebody showing like, oh, what happened? It like it melted or looks all crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and like now I'm starting to see him post like, oh, check out these like first wheels, that I posted for this build, and just seeing it all just coming together, it's very inspiring, like seeing that right there. I think that's pretty dope. So things like that is what motivates me to like want to like get back into it. It's just the only thing I feel that what's gonna end up happening is I know it's gonna be like a learning curve, and it's gonna take time until I really like get it where I'm on my own kind of doing it. But I'm just a little scared that I'm gonna get too into it, that it's gonna take away from all the other stuff I do, So
Yeah,
I
I
have to
get that.
have a balance.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. It's really easy to just keep printing, and
Uh-huh.
and that turns into a hobby, you know, and
Yeah,
it
dude.
does like take away from the builds and stuff. I think I haven't been doing much of it recently because it's been so cold.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a broke boy with my unautomatically heated up printer, right? With all that stuff. But yeah, it kind of like it does take away from building if you get way too into it. And at the same time, like it provides opportunities for to help other people, build and get into it, and doing collaborations and that sort of thing. I think it was how long ago was it? It was a couple of months ago. Um, but somebody, an artist who goes by Yeah Nice, I think it's Yeah underscore nice or Yeah full stop nice, over here in Australia. Um, we were just talking and ended up doing a collaboration where I 3D printed some stuff for them, some sets of wheels that they really like that they have on their real car. Um, and I have a test print here. Hopefully it shows up. Um, I 3D printed the wheels and the tires are separate for like it's like a copy of an Aoshima wheel set. I like drew up the sprue. I was like sitting there for half an hour, like measuring the sprue and drawing it up because it was just fun. But like it's a 3D printed part that looks like a an injection cast part, which is like I don't know. I guess that's what drew me to the project and adding that was how silly is it that something is 3D printed to look like something that was injection cast, you know? And they did up some really cool artwork for the box that they were going to put them in. And I don't know if they've posted up, but I sent them like I printed up a set in clear blue. I think I have one of the tires here. Hang on. I printed up a set in like clear blue resin. Oh no, it disappears. Um, and I printed it with like glittery sort of like clear coat and paint, just as like like a chase version. But it was really fun to do that sort of thing, and but like once in a blue moon, so it's not taking away from like my own shenanigans that I want to do, but um, kind of trying to like bribe someone back to the bench or bribe them into getting a printer to show them how cool printing is. That's kind of my jam. I like it. Showing people how cool printing can be and how customized things can be. But yeah, it does. You can fall down the rabbit hole of 3D printing, and like the building goes down and the printing goes up. You got to kind of mesh them together and find a way that works for you. But I have printed like probably a couple hundred sets of wheels for myself, and they all like just scatter into the wind, between all the projects, and probably two or three of them that get used. But it's a part of model building now, for me and a lot of people, and it's just kind of like you say, finding the balance of printing and building because I want to do more building and less printing. You know, I sort of think it does run away a little bit, but yeah, now you've got Rudy helping you, and there's not much standard between you and printing stuff, is there?
No, yeah, right now when you were showing me that blue wheel, it reminded me of that purple character Cortana from that Halo game.
That's why I
From like
bought the
from part
resin.
one.
Yeah, I bought that resin just to print like a cool Cortana figure,
Mhm.
because she's clear in blue or she's like clear in purple or
Purple, yeah,
something,
yeah. Hmm.
and maybe that's why I still have the blue resin because I'm colorblind and I always thought she was blue. Um, but you know, I would imagine so.
Maybe she is. I don't know. I almost got like she was more like a purple kind of vibe on
They
there.
probably changed her look so many times by now, I would imagine. But yeah, that's what I wanted to print when I was printing like figures, like bigger stuff. Like Cam does. I wanted to print like a clear Cortana and like have like glittery pearlescent stuff through it. And I can't remember. I couldn't find a file, I don't think. I couldn't find like just a regular game model file that was like accurate. Because I wanted like a game accurate one. But yeah, no, that's exactly why I have that resin. That's exactly why is because of Cortana. I can imagine like because David does his like figures and stuff like that, and he paints them up and prints them and packages them up. I'd love to do something like that one day with wheels, not on a big scale, like scale like model building, but you know like 124. Like, have you seen the Fujimi wheel sets? They come in like on a blister pack, and you got to peel the front off like a Hot Wheels car. There's sets like that. I'd love to do like a custom set of like short run wheels, just to say like I produced something like what David does, and those wheels that I did for Mr. Yeah Nice, because I think that'd be so much fun to just like make a pretend product, you know, with the vacuum form stuff on the front and the custom card. It'd just be it's so much fun. It's on my list of stuff to do, but like you said, um, building and printing kind of needs a balance.
Yeah. Do you know
Super
if
needs a
anybody
balance.
has done anything where they host like a build off, but it's hosted, but it's just 3D printed? Like let's just say for example, like you host the build off, you already have all the files made, like the car, the interior, everything done. And if you want to participate, you got to join like the email list or the club or whatever, right? And then when the date starts, you get hit with the file. So you got like maybe a couple of days to download it, and then you download it, and then they still give you time, like let's say a week to like at least print it. And then on this date, boom, you start, and then till the end. This way, no one has to go out and buy the kit or whatever. It just more people kind of participating. Has anybody done anything like that?
There was one thing sort of similar. I think it was like a it was hosted, of course, by a company in like connection with a club, a company that makes resin. You know, they were kind of like all for it, but I can't remember the names of anything. But it was an Australian resin company, I think, with an Australian club, and it was build something 3D printed, and I think or design something, or but there's a lot of that that goes around. There's a lot of like 3D design and more in the render making space, I think. But I think as more people get like better at designing, there's going to be build offs like that for sure, and there'll be sections of shows where it goes, this is like you know our years worth of like building and designing and printing together. But specifically getting sent out something for like a printing contest. I've seen painting contests where they'll go, "Hey, here's this free file. Print it and paint it, and show everybody, and we'll like vote on it at the end of the month or something like that." I've seen that before, but from starting from scratch, designing something, that would be really cool to see. But I don't think I would take part in that because it would like I'm a fairly standard designer. I just do cookie cutter stuff, but it will be really cool to see people like design a car from scratch. Like imagine that, and they have like a month to do it and print it and paint it. That would be so cool. That would be really, really, really cool. I would love to see something like that, like the black box guy, um, and Dirty Customs. Like if those guys were like let loose on a competition like that, that would be so cool. Absolutely cool because those guys they design. They do some really, really, really cool stuff. So seeing something time gated like that would be awesome. I don't think I would take part, but because I would just get stuck on one thing, and like obsess over it until the end. I would have nothing. I just have a set of wheels and like no car body on top. It's like here's my invisible car, guys. But no, that would be so cool to see. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, like there's some designers that do like 3D printed stuff from Japan that I follow on X, and once in a while they'll upload some of their designs like of what they're working on, but they haven't. I think only one group of guys has made it available. But there's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
individual who's on there, and he doesn't offer his files. I think he sells them, but just in Japan, like he prints them and he sells them at shows.
yep.
But I really like the when they do like the interiors where it just looks like the skeleton where it's like very everything's all stripped. That you could replace like the indoor panels, the package tray, or like the rear, like getting rid of the rear seat and all that. I really love the look of all that right there. I
I
wish I
remember you
wish I
sending
could
me
see
that.
more of that done with a lot more models.
I know that that one. I remember the one you sent me. It was for like a Toyota Chaser, I think it was, and the dude did like all the ribbing and the skeleton of the inside and the roll cage as well. Man, that was really cool. That was amazing. And the package tray that you can see through the rear windshield, it just is so cool. Looks so cool. Adds so much dimension to the model cars when you can see through the little skeleton holes and the behind the doors and stuff like that. And I know one company used to sell a 3D cast, 3D cast, casts like in resin one for a S13 Skyline, I think. S13 Sylvia, not Skyline. Um, but I'm getting all mixed up. But yeah, it'd be really cool to see more stripped interiors because yeah, there's like we have all the custom seats. We can build roll cages. We have gauges and steering wheels and all that sort of stuff and gubbins on the inside. But yeah, could you imagine like an EK9 Civic or an EF Civic where it has all the stripped interior and it's the same color as the outside body and it just looks like a super Osaka style kind of like what's the word, Kanjo car um, that has all that dimension. That'd be super cool. That'd be awesome. You'd never see me build anything else
I know, dude.
for a
I'd
long
be so
time.
hyped. I'd be so excited if something like that was made. I was gonna show you. Look, I still have these wheel sets you sent me like some years back. Let me see how close I can get here. And you painted these too. Maybe like this better.
I don't even remember what they are.
Yeah, I still got these. I even have another one that I haven't painted yet, but I have them. I put them in these little baggies right here.
Man,
Um,
that's awesome. You got plenty to keep you going.
yeah. Have you ever like released a print or just something that you've made it live for people to download that later you feel like you regret releasing it because you kind of revisit it and you fix it again and you go, oh man, I needed to fix this. I shouldn't have released it yet. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Lots of my older stuff. Like I'll go back and one of them was the one of the first things I uploaded was I think they were Boulevard wheels from it might have been Intro or one of those like big billet wheel companies. And I did a copy of that and put it on Cults and the file that I uploaded was the two wheels together. They were one piece each. So there was no adjustable offset and they were in the same file. So when you printed them, you had to print them at the exact same time and at that size because like that's how I designed them and uploaded the file. And I went back and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I was always going to finish this and like redo it and upload them. So I opened up the old file and I was looking at my old work going, okay, I'll redo that. I'll redo that. I'll redo that part two. I'll redo that. And then I ended up doing, I think it was they're in all the parts are separate files now, and the centers are different sizes for the front and the rear, I think. And there's a bunch of different offsets, and some of my old files still need to have that done. And I think those Simmons wheels, I think Simmons FR something, a fairly popular file that have probably been through about 3 iterations now of me going back and going, I'll add this, I'll add this little part and upload it. I'll add this little part, and it's probably not going to end. You know, I'm probably going to keep going back to old files and updating them. If there's a specific need, like if I need it for my builder, or someone hits me up and going, "Hey, these super old files that you uploaded years ago are kind of crummy. Like, can I have the separate center or something like that?" It's fairly quick and easy to do, but for the most part, like when I'm 3Ding stuff, I'm kind of just looking for something new to do, like something that kind of grabs me, you know. And I'm like, oh, I need to hold that in my hand, like those Mario wheels. That also have been through a couple of iterations now of me going back and fixing them. But yeah, from time to time, it's kind of like when you see an old build on your shelf and you're like, oh, I could go back and I could polish that a little bit, or I could fix the stance up a little bit, kind of like that. It's always going to be a thing that I kind of sit there and go, yeah, I could do a little better now. But I'm kind of like skill capped now. I can't go any further without like dedicating a lot of time um, to it. So once everything's like up to that skill cap, then I'll be fine. I've just fixed everything in one big go or something like that someday. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's a constant thing.
that's how
Constant
I feel
thing.
sometimes with how I feel like everybody feels like that with builds. Like you want to go back and like revisit them and just like fix them. There's the blue R35 that I did. I remember I was like, all right, I'm gonna add the photo etch kit. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Like just feeling like, all right, I'm gonna put a lot of work into it, you know? And once the whole project was done, the bill that came after that, I decided, okay, on this one, it's also like a Liberty Walk kit. I'm gonna add rivets
Yep.
to,
Yep.
you know, to all the like the extra, parts that was widening the for the wide body. And I learned that process of drilling and inserting and gluing all the little rivets on there that I was like, I would look at the R35 and be like, okay, I have all these detailed things and whatever that's like very satisfying, but that's the one thing that's bothering me. I should have added that. But it's just I wasn't ready yet, I guess, so I didn't even consider it, you know? And even till this day, it's one that I still look at and I'm like thinking, oh man, I'm getting kind of the itch. Like I'm just gonna take it out of its box and I'm just gonna start like drilling in those things and pop
Uh-huh.
them in there. And if I screw up, I'm gonna screw up, you know, and just
Yeah,
let
it's
it
kind of
let it
when you
be.
finish a build and you like look at what you didn't do, and it's kind of like it's the same with me and like that weathering. I always look at these builds on my shelf and going, that would be a lot of fun to weather that up and like muck it up and add some more detail pass to it. But yeah, I kind of got a feeling there for a while. You were kind of like obsessed with the adding the rivets to the wide body. It was really cool to see because like whenever I try to do it, the drill bit just goes off to whoop whoop, and I end up drilling them like a tiny little bit off center, and it annoys me to no end. So that's why I don't do it. But at some stage I might. But yeah, drilling the holes is the trickiest part for me because like I always press too hard. You know when you got the pin vise and they kind of
Mhm.
got some weight to them. Like if there was a graveyard full of drill bits that I had sacrificed to try to drill really little holes, there'd be like the ghosts of holes drilled past would come and visit me on Christmas night. But yeah, no, the adding rivets to those LB kits makes such a huge difference though, because it break. I didn't do them on that Moon Eyes one because like I was afraid like this build is like almost done. Like if I start drilling rivets now, I'll be here for another like year. Trying to complete that part. But I remember your blue skyline. That
Yeah,
that that came out really cool.
yeah, it was like at first I couldn't really like I was having issues with the drilling part of it because the plastic rivets they're already kind of sticking out. And, like it has little plastic ones, so you gotta all paint them. But I was like, nah, I don't want to paint them, you know? So it was like I had to drill that out, like go, drill that out and then go through it. And I ended up using the Tamiya pin vise. Like they have a slim one. It's like black, the
Yeah, 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 yeah.
body
Yep,
of
yep,
it.
yep.
And then just like they have a really small, like fine drill set. And when I put the small bit in there, I had to like slide it in all the way in. So it's just like a tiny little, maybe like a
Okay.
millimeter or two sticking out, and then just start twisting it. And once it was already all in, twisting out was like you had to be very careful because I did break a couple during that process of that I had to replace, but I still kept going, like saying like, all right, like today I'm gonna do just all one side, couple fenders. Tomorrow I'll do the other side because it takes up a lot of time like doing it. And once I had the rivets really small, uh, I was trying to place them with tweezers, but sometimes they would fall. Something would always happen, right? So then what I ended up doing was I got like this black apron and I took it off because there was a minute I was wearing those for a bit, but I ended up laying out the apron on my bench. I had the body, and then from there, all the rivets I would take like one at a time out of the little baggie, and I would use a magnet, and I would like
That's
pick
right.
pick
Yep.
up pick up the rivet with the magnet, but it would be like sideways though. So then I'd have to with the tweezers like pick it up. So now it's like like the like upside down, like on its head or whatever on the magnet. And then I would
Yeah.
go
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'd place it, insert it, and then I'd slide the magnet sideways so it would like just stay there. And then I'd put my finger on the rivet, get a little bit of CA glue, and then just add it from underneath so it would make contact with the rivet, and then just remove my finger. And I was like, all right, it's there, it's done. I don't have to like do anything else after that. And it was a process, man, but it was well worth it at the end for me. Like my eyes were just happy knowing like, all right, dude, I did it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like you don't have to paint. They have like that special shine, like metal shine to them that you don't get with paint, sort of thing. It picks up the light when you move the car. But yeah, no, I just don't think I have the patience for it. I think I like after I lose like the seventh rivet that like plinks off the tweezers, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, no, this is getting silly. Like, it's the
I
same with the scribers, Display has so much of my money because like I keep breaking their little scribers,
Mhm.
you know, you know, and you feel it break when you're scribing the line. It just goes plink, and you're like, oh no, like, that's my
Yeah.
last one.
Dang.
You
Now it
know?
happens a lot when you're scribing, and then it's happened to me, and then I started twisting it, and I'm like, oh, I had to wait. I had to like wait, lift it, and then turn it, and then pull it. And
Yeah,
that right there would mess me up. I'd be like, man, I gotta fix that right there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got to oh, what's the brand? It's they name their products. I think you've carried them before. One was like the razor file, and the other one was like a mechanical pencil with a pin in it. It was called like Greeder. Um, was it Madworks? I don't think it was Madworks. Um, I can't remember, but all their packaging is like really pretty. But I bought like their mechanical pencil with their three-sided like sewing pin scriber, and
Oh, that
that
was
hasn't
a
broken on me yet.
gun primer.
Gun primer, thank you. That's the name. Right, yeah, I bought one of those, and I've been really loving it. Like, I haven't managed to break it yet. So, any tool that I don't break the first time I use it, is
Dang,
is worth its
here it
weight in
is. I have it
gold.
right in front of me.
That's all.
Gun, the
Yeah,
gun.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and it's a trip
yeah,
because it is like a mechanical pencil, but when you start to bring it out, there's no lead. It's actually a pin. Just
yeah,
like I was like, man, is this like a sewing pin? Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the same thing I thought, but it's quite sharp. It's like got three sides on it. So like even when you're scribing and you twist it and then scribe it, it'll be a bit like thicker on one side. Sort of like you can kind of game it in a way to make it do thicker or thinner lines. Um, but yeah, no, it's handy and it's light because that's the thing that makes me break drill bits and scribers is how heavy the handles are because you get that the fulcrum, the tension on it, just at the wrong angle, and the weight of it will like plink something apart. It's the same with the display pin vise you sent me. That's great. That's so light, and it's got like it's not needlessly heavy and fancy like the big chunky Tamiya ones that are silver. The it's light, so you can't get the tension as much. You'll start to like a lot more control. But I like light tools with scribers and drill bits because like I'm pretty rough. I'm a rough guts. I break a lot of stuff by accident.
Yeah, I like, just acquiring a lot of different pin vices, drill bits and stuff like that. Just because whenever I'm tinkering with something or I want it to look a certain way, if one drill bit or one size, ain't gonna do it, I gotta keep looking at to see what else I have in the stash that I'm gonna come across because I was talking to a friend about this. We were talking about like, acquiring tools. He's like, man, you got a lot of tools and stuff. And I'm like, nah, I do. That's also, I feel like it's like a separate hobby, like just collecting them, acquiring them and having them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do like if I'm set on starting a project, I like trying to get all the stuff I need for it, to get started, to get into it and finish it. Because I don't like getting stuck like midway or somewhere in there where I'm like, dang, I gotta wait. Now I have to order this or I have to go to the store and get it. And there's more of a delay because sometimes you can't just get it right away. Like it's gonna take some days to
You might lose that mojo.
yeah, and that too. By the time you get it, that inspiration's already kind of gone, or you're kind of like, you know what? Like the direction's gonna change. I don't really like the way this is looking anymore. But it's because it's not really done yet.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I remember seeing on one of your live streams all of the like the drill bit and scriber and like the brooches, the chisels they have. It's like, god damn, this dude's got like the library. He's got like the library of like Alexandria or whatever it is of tools. Because you have the big wooden things set up on your, and I'm like, they're full. They're absolutely full. They probably weigh as much as I do. With all the tools in there.
yeah, like
Yeah,
one.
it was cool to see you go through them.
Yeah, I need to do like a video, like a separate one of just like opening a drawer, like of nippers and busting them all out and like laying them all out. Because there's a
Yeah.
lot of different ones, and you might be like, why do you need so many, But then I'll have to break down like what each one does or what it was for, what I was using it for.
Yeah, yeah, I've got a few hanging around here, like not nearly as organized as yours, but I have these ones that are like my go-to. You sent me these. I think it's the God Hand ones of like just the everyday. Um, just these things like they are probably the tool besides my like dust brush that I use the most. Because they do one thing and they do it really really well. And I have a fancy set of, I think they're Display. They might be of like single bladed nippers that I use very sparingly because I know I'll break them. And I had another set around here somewhere. They're up there. Hang on. You can enjoy this cool ScaleRiders t-shirt. That, oh no, it's disappearing. Um, my friend Luke, he sent me this set. I don't even know what the brand's called. But man, these things are like deadly. They're they're so nice. I only use them if I'm like doing something really really special, like cutting out like a Tamiya engine parts. Um, but they have this funky handle shape. It's not going to show up. Hang on, they have that funky handle shape. Um, there where you can hold them really delicately, and they're not too heavy, these ones. And but yeah, like I have like a bunch of tools around here, like nothing compared to like the the absolute garage full that you have. But yeah, everything has a specific use, and like it's easy to forget and just use one tool for everything, and then like nothing else gets used. So yeah, I have like a garage full of them, the nice clean tools that never get used or broken, which is like kind of the plus side. But yeah, that's it's you're right. It's a whole different hobby. Because there's so many companies out there now selling tools, especially those little vacuum. I love that little vacuum you have, that hungry little fella. Around.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that's
like
that's a
your
cool little
iPod or
vacuum, dude. Yeah, I'm getting
something.
more of those in. I did order some from my distributor. It's weird because they had them listed like they were out of stock. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna order a bunch of them just to have them whenever they get them in. And I ordered them and they invoiced me like, here you go, like they're shipping out. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, oh heck yeah. Like I've been wanting to have these, I use it all the time. I recommend it to a lot of people and maybe if somebody wants one, I'm gonna have them up once I get them in. but they come in very handy. Here, let me right here. It's
Very cool.
this
I
little
love
buddy
it
right
how
here.
people like personify things. They give them like a character. It looks like a little
Yeah,
trilobite or a horseshoe
I should
crab.
put like some little wiring, like little antennas or something. Make it like some kind of bug
Yeah,
or something. But
yeah,
this is
it's
cool
like a
because it
pill
just
bug.
fits in
Yeah,
it fits in the palm of your hand, and it
yeah,
has
they're really
these
cool.
little like bristles at the bottom.
Little
And then
whiskers. Yeah.
yeah, here, let me turn it on. Man, it's like a little fan. Once you turn that thing on, it just sucks everything in here. Everything goes in here, all the styrene, everything, dust, whatever. Because a lot of the times you're like working on stuff, and then it's a habit to like just with your arm, like you can wipe everything off and let it hit the ground and whatever, or you just blow out the piece, or your table. But obviously stuff gets everywhere, and that's fine. I do it all the time. But after a while, I was like, all right, I gotta just clean up real quick and just there's a dude I remember with George. We were talking about this. There was a guy on YouTube, a Japanese guy. He'd be working on his model and he'd bust this out and just be like "Zzz, zzz, zzz," and like collect everything and then continue
Yeah.
working. And I'm like, man, his table just looks clean, like dust free and everything. But he's constantly like every so often he takes a little break. He does some passes with the little mini vacuum and it's done,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I like this little thing, man. I need to give it a name. It needs to be like a little character in the
Yeah.
live
Yeah,
streams.
no, I love stuff like that. Love it. Maybe like the company will like catch on and start like writing the name that you give it on their boxes and like sell it as a little cartoon character mascot or something. That would be cool. But I kind of I love stuff like that. Like you're just hungry little fella feeding him all the dust and the plastic of that. But yeah, I love stuff like that. It is fun and cute and silly, which is kind of the whole point. But yeah, I don't have one of those. I'm one of those sweepers that just like sweeps everything off the bench, and then I have like a whole like row of like dust and plastic and bits of wire stuck to my arm that I have to like get off. Yeah, no, it's we do things I think very differently. You're very organized and like clean, and I just throw stuff everywhere. Like I have like blue tack and like I got a pile of these like all over my desk and like the clips and just parts and stuff and junk everywhere. I love it. It's two sides of the same coin, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, like, as far as like all the kits that you acquire over the years, you buy something and then later you get something else. And and the first instinct is when you buy them, all these ideas run through your head, right? You want to build this kit, but then over the years you keep acquiring stuff. When do you actually go back and go like, all right, it's time now. I gotta really like work on this kit because it's just been in the back burner for a long time. Like how do you do it to revert back to that original kit that you purchased?
Usually when I'm looking for something else. Like, if I get a new kit, I'm like, oh, I had a set of wheels that would work good for this. And then I'll go through my stash looking for the wheels that are in a kit box, and then I'll find an old kit and be like, oh, this is almost done. I can finish that now. Like, what's holding me up now? And just an endless cycle of that, just looking through stuff and finding something that piques my interest on that particular day. Like, if I have a car painted in a certain color and I'm like, thinking of the color blue today. Like it's just in my head for some random reason. And I'll find a kit that's blue. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Or like I'll see something in Instagram or someone will send me a post. I'm like, oh, I was building one of those at that stage, at some stage. It's like half done. Like I only have to do half the work now to finish it. But no, it's just one of those things where like I'm not holding myself to task to finish stuff for no reason, sort of, if it was for a build up or something, sure, but like my hobby time, like in the hobby space and what I have, it's just kind of do whatever makes you happy that day. Instead of like setting up a whole kind of like production line sort of, it's just kind of just follow your heart that day, sort of. It's I don't know, it's just one of those things where everybody builds differently, and the way I figured out how to have the kind of fun I want is kind of just do whatever. just like, "Oh, I remember I was building that. I'll pull that out and do a little work on it and kind of keep it interesting and fresh and project jumping and all that. I don't know. It's just kind of something. If I had less space, it would probably be less like that, maybe. But I maybe unfortunately have too much space, to put stuff in, so I keep filling it up. But yeah, I don't know. Like, do you feel the need to like finish something before you start something else, or because I just kind of don't feel that anymore. I just kind of grew out of it, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Like as far as like kind of growing out of it, in the beginning, I did feel that pressure, just because it was like a new thing, like acquiring like restarting the collection again of stuff. That I'd be like, all right, I got this one. Oh, let me get the next year, the next year, next. You got all these years in different Impalas, different Chevys or Fords. It's like the Mobius, like those Ford trucks. I got addicted
Yeah.
collecting them in the beginning, and I'm talking about this is before the online store. I was just like going to the hobby stores, buying them for myself, and being like, all right, cool. I got the 69, I got the 70, and so forth, and loving the box art, but collecting them because I was like, oh, I'm gonna build these. But at the same time, because my friends were, very heavy into these, and they were actually building them, I was like, I felt like I was just tagging along. Like I want to collect them. Eventually, I'll get to them. But then I started to feel over time, like having all these models, that pressure of like, man, I gotta build one. I gotta open this one up. So I start opening stuff, start working on stuff. But then nothing would really happen. I would just end up getting into something else. So like over time, I started noticing, man, I'm really kind of building some of the not the odd kits, but some kits that I really wasn't as interested in, and the ones that I'm really, really interested in, I'm not even like really diving deep into it, you know, because of the pressure or whatever. But then now, like, I don't even really like feel it. It's just kind of like, I see a model and I'm like, all right, that's the one I want to work on. I know right now it's a bit different with the live streams as far as with the Corvair. This is like the first live project where I'm been going on weekly, just working on the
Yeah.
build, getting it going, and just trying to like do stuff on the spot, even if whatever happens I mess up or whatever. And I'm anticipating the paint. I wonder how that's gonna go, because I'm trying to figure out how am I gonna prop up the camera in there in the booth, because I do want to leave it live for, for the whole time. Like there's gonna be no editing, nothing
Yeah.
like, all right,
Yeah.
guys, I'm gonna get started. Oh, look, it's done. No, it's gonna be like the raw thing. If I spill some paint off the cup, whatever happens, you know, I want it to be like that. If everything goes well, at the end and I finish it, all right, cool. Like I'm not concerned of how the outcome will be. I'm just more the goal is to get it done. That's kind of the primary goal, is just get it done, and then let's move on to the next kit. Um, I don't think I'll be like picking like a kit. I haven't started. I might just pick something that's in the primer stage, because I started it and I neglected it, and I was like, all right, let's get you done already. We
Yeah.
gotta.
Yeah. That's like half my stash. Yeah, no, it's really cool to see it happening live. Like I remember watching you cutting the windshield, and I was like, biting my fingernails, like, oh damn. And then you put the tape over it, and I'm like, oh, I could kind of breathe again because you were using the saw. I was like, yeah, it's really cool to see like those kind of more difficult parts happen, and like if you look at the start of one of those live streams and then you look at the end straight after, you can like see exactly how much you got done and sort of stuff, and just sitting there working on a model. And for the painting, maybe you can like get like a chest mounted like kind of like thing that the I know those vloggers and the mountain bikers use and stuff. Maybe like something like the old Doom video game where you can just see your hands out the front, killing aliens and stuff. But yeah, no, it's been really cool to see the progress of that Corvair happening. because like it's so far you've made like a lot of changes to that kit. Smoothing parts out and cutting those vents out is such a cool idea. I know George did some Porsche vents, I think, from a Speedster maybe, and put them there, and it's cool to see your take on that, and how that's going to turn out. It's going to look really cool, and it's super chill to have on. Like just I was sitting there playing a video game, like and you'll be over there sitting on my like the table talking about models. It's like it's perfect. It's sort of the, or I could be at the bench, but I always get too distracted, watching the live streams. Yeah, no, it's been cool. It's been cool to see. I can't wait to see how it progresses with the
Thank
live
you, man.
streams.
Yeah, I just, I feel comfortable like working, like doing them. Like I get excited when, because it's free time for me around those hours at night. I don't really got much going on. I know I could just relax at home and everything, but I'm really thinking about I gotta finish this car. So just like jumping on, and also another thing was the concern was trying to find the correct angle to record it and everything. And over time, I mean,
Yeah,
I definitely, I keep talking about the equipment, it's gonna change. I want it to be at a higher quality, different angles, things like that. I'm still doing research on stuff. It's just there's just so many products out right now
yeah,
that it makes it very hard to narrow it down. And at the same time, I mean, I see videos from some dudes doing some very dope professional looking stuff. But I don't know them personally or anything. So it's really hard to just, be like, hey, what are you using? I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of weird to just kind of throw it out there like, what, who's this dude? Or
I
they
know
might
what
not
you
even
mean.
see it. Um,
Yeah, for sure, for
but
sure.
eventually, we'll get there. We'll get there. I was getting a little stressed out in the very beginning, but then uh trying to make everything work because it wasn't working in the beginning. But once I got it up and running with the phone, I was like, all right, that's it. Nothing's holding me like back. I'm just gonna hit record and we're live and we're moving forward, you know. So
Yeah, I
that's
suppose like anything else, isn't it? Just learn the tools and the methods to use them, like model building, sort of thing. We always have a perfect allegory for learning something new because we build models. But yeah, finding angles for doing stuff so like small and intricate at the bench would be pretty tricky. Like, and then doing it live. Making a video, um, you can like muck around for like half an hour finding the shot if you're really that keen on it. But yeah, doing it live is a whole different box of frogs. But yeah, no, so far it's been cool. I like the angle where it's showing like on the opposite side of the bench, and it's looking towards you, and you can see what you're doing. I like that angle. That's a really good angle for
nice.
kind of seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
I'm gonna keep doing more. I was gonna ask you as far as like those Australian kits, are they coming out with new like newer bodies or like newer kits with those?
the DDA ones, yeah, yeah. They had, because they make die casts as well. So when you see them like, oh, we got in a new product test, and like, I think the last product test they got was a VL Commodore, which is like an 80s four-door family car. I think the closest thing would be like a Caprice or something like that. But yeah, they got some product tests in for that for the diecast versions. So the it's kind of like, yeah, they're probably going to make a kit of that coming out. There's a modern Holden Ute, um, which I think they got product tests for. There's wagons of their Kingswoods. I think they were the first kits that came out. You remember the Kingswoods? I did that gold one with a white roof. There'll be a wagon one of that. There's a VL, not VL, a Valiant Charger, which is kind of like Chrysler Mopar kind of stuff over here, which is going to be really cool. The whole bunch of different stuff, whole bunch of different stuff. I've been working on a Ute of their, I think, XW Ford Falcon um, for a little bit here. If we can, hang on, we can do another one of those turn the camera around things. I need to remember how to do it. I've already forgotten. um,
Yeah, now go for it. I'll let you get that set up real
that,
quick.
that I'm
Yeah,
getting quicker at it. None that
let's see.
back.
Yeah.
Turn
Yeah.
on the-
How's
Ah!
everybody doing? If you guys have any questions for slowly, let me know. I'll uh, I'll let them know right here.
Move my coffee cup away. Okay. I'll try to pick it
I
up
was
before.
looking at the comments, and I know Corny already bounced, but he did mention a show in October 11th, the Akron show in Ohio. That's the Plastic Undercover. I'm gonna have to get more info on that show, like regarding the flyer. 'Cause I know last year we had sent out some stuff to them out there. I believe there were like door prizes and stuff like that for the people that showed up to that event. Um, but let's see. Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah,
And
ready. I
okay, go
took
for it. I'll let you take it from here.
shaky camera. This is the DDA's Ute kit. There's some of Gavin's wheels down there on it. I've been really slowly working on it. Um, I kind of like smoothed out the back and the roll pan. There's supposed to be a like a recess and like 14 different parts make up the back. But I just glued them all together, smoothed them out, put them on Gavin's wheels. The camera angle is really weird. It looks like a skate video. But on the inside, I've got hang on, Skyline motor, RB motor, with a big stinky turbo on it by I think Dirty Customs. Designed this one 3D printed. And because I didn't want to put a Barra in it, which is a straight six, it's a famous engine in Australia from our Ford Falcons. I wanted to be contrarian. But yeah, this is one of their kits. It's more designed to be a die cast. You can kind of tell from the bottom. It's got screw holes there, and kind of just really simple construction, which I kind of like. It suits me just dandy, if it's simple because it matches me. Yeah, it's an Australian car, a Ute, which I think the closest thing would be El Camino or a Ranchero over there in the States, and elsewhere. Yeah, that's that one. It's in primer, and I'm not sure what color to do it yet, to suit the kind of custom super slammed look upon it. But yeah, that's a DDA kit. Now we're bringing out lots more probably. I just got a Tirana, which is just about the most Australian word you could ever design. Um, but yeah, hang on, I'll get the thing turned back around now if I can remember how I set it up.
Man,
Yeah,
that looks dope, dude. I really love the look of it, like just it like slam. But you're right, it does look up there with either like a like a Ranchero or El Camino. Um, but it looks nice. It's definitely something different. That vibe, and then the way you smooth everything out in the back. So the pieces that you glued on there, that you said it was three pieces that put together make the back part. Were those sticking
yeah.
out a lot, like a bumper, or no?
No, they were like flush, but
Okay.
there were two corner pieces on the end that were supposed to be glued in, but you could only like glue them in and make them final, because they were hiding screw holes. So I just cut out the back, and Luke showed me on his, my buddy Luke, how he did his version, and he just glued them in, and there's supposed to be a center part between them that you pull out because there's supposed to be a spare tire in there that you can pull out and play with, and because it's a die cast. So I just closed all that off, and smoothed it out, kind of like old school custom kind of mini truck vibe, sort of, but here, I'll fix my camera. I'll make it more gooder. You can see here there's like the lamp part, but I think we can live with it. But yeah, no, I just kind of wanted to go with a more smooth look at the back. It was kind of like one of those things that was holding me back on the build. It was like because too many parts were falling all over the place. It's kind of like when you try to mock up wheels with separate centers and do a mock up on the car, everything just falls apart, and it gets annoying. But yeah, no, yeah, just wanted to one piece body with the separate bonnet, just way easier than messing around with all those parts. Because yeah, just to make it easier for myself, that it'll hopefully one day get done. um, if I keep making like videos and stuff for it. But you've said before. I remember you like trying to do mock-ups with wheels that just fall apart. It just kind of holds you back, from progressing in the build, from kind of getting a vision for it. So yeah, that's what that was. Just smoothing everything out, make it easier for myself.
Yeah, that's always like the annoying part right there sometimes. It's like you got th three separate pieces, you're putting them all together. You don't really want to cement them together. But then if I
Yeah,
use, let's say, white glue or something else to use it, I still gotta wait for it to dry to like for it to hold
yeah,
together. And
yeah,
you just want to keep going, you don't want to stop. You want to keep moving and then, if let's say you don't glue anything and you mock it up, and then next thing you know, you got the stance, but then something falls, back wheel, front wheel, and you're
yeah,
like, dude, like, like
yeah.
what's going on?
That,
I do
that
have
slows me down a lot.
a question in the chat room. This is coming from George. He wants to know if you have any plans in the future, to come out to the US to like a show. If
I would
if
love to. Yeah, yeah. One day I would love to go to a show out there. Um, and I don't know, it would have been really cool to come out there to the show that those Corvairs the presentation was at. That would have been really cool. But yeah, it's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list to go out to like the West Coast. I always have to remember the West Coast. And to see shows out there and visit everybody. And you and Armando and everybody out there on the West Coast. And go to a show. Absolutely. Absolutely one day it's on my super duper bucket list to do. But who knows,
yeah,
like when it would be, or what it would be for. Who knows?
yeah, it would be dope, man. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Obviously, aside from model building and all that, like scene stuff, there's just a lot more to see. But yeah, it would be awesome if you came out here to the West Coast, hang out with
Yeah, for
us.
sure. I'd love to see where I say where they filmed Wile E. Coyote, but like where that place is a representative of. I think it'd probably be like Arizona or something. With all the desert and the buttes and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. That's like kind of the like environment I would love to see, and like Oregon, where it's all like pine trees and stuff, would be really nice. But yeah, it would probably be centered around like model building if I ever went out there. Because most of the people I know out there live out there are model builders, so that'd be the reason for it, is to like go to a show, and then everything else would come after, sort of thing. But Armando always says he wants to take me out for like Mexican sushi, which I still don't know completely what it is, but he always talks about it. It sounds really good. You like know someone that works in a restaurant out there. That'd be really cool to
Yeah, he
do.
told he was telling me about that the last the show that I saw him in May when we were at the SoCal Open. He said that when they took off, they ended up going to that. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, where's
Yeah,
that at? So he started
yeah,
telling me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I commute through that area, through that city, a lot of the times when I'm, going to Ventura County. So I want to go to it, but I feel it would be right. It would be best if I go there with, Armando and the guys, or
yeah,
to be introduced formally, like this is the spot right here, this is where we eat.
yeah,
Like that, I'm down. Let's do it, you know?
yeah. He makes it sound really, really good. He makes it sound great. But yeah, he said I think it was um after the Corvair thing, he went out with those guys to one of those places, and the way he talks about it makes it sound really good. So yeah, I'd be down for sure to just go and get messy. Just tip him back. That'd be really fun for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and like right now with model building, like what do you think, or what do you kind of predict is what's gonna kind of take it to like the next level, to push that envelope forward?
I'm probably always going to say 3D printing, but more stuff being available is always like availability and accessibility. Like companies like Tamiya make like their top line of kits, is like competition style model kits where it's all detailed, and they bring out these detail sets and everything like that. And I think other companies are like in between. with releasing stuff. Like Hasagawa have like Tamiya quality new stuff, but they're not as detailed. They're more curbside for the most part. And then you've got Aoshima, which has older molds. But their new stuff, their new line is like the snap together stuff, and they're going heavy on the licensed stuff like Initial D and Fast and Furious. You know, they announced those Fast and Furious kits, and the snap together and the 32 scale, I think, is going to be really big. So I'm going to say like accessibility is going to increase for people to either get into the hobby or try new things in the hobby. Because you know, it's not to throw shade or anything. Like I don't understand how people can build the same thing over and over. They must really love like that specific period of that specific car of that to be really passionate about. But when I think of model building, I think of like just trying new weird stuff. So hopefully that coupled with 3D printing, coupled with like, you know, more kits being available, and the 3D printing industry to support those. And the small companies, like not small companies, but like Zoom on White Chocolate and you know, all those guys doing like mixed media stuff. I think, is it C1? No, it's who's that mob out in Europe? Scale Production are doing mixed media like 3D printing and rubber tires and photo etch and aluminium hoops in the same parts, in the same like kits. That's gonna like increase kind of how deep people want to go in these kits that are coming out and that are accessible. But yeah, I'm just gonna say like I hope that the next big thing that happens is we get big influx of new builders because um, there's companies doing a lot of licensed stuff. Like imagine like seeing like being a big fan of Initial D and seeing Aoshima bring out these kits and go, what the hell's a model kit? That's got Initial D written all over it. Like, what's I got to figure this out, and then we got them. You know, we got them. But yeah, accessibility, I think, in every sense of the word, is more products, more kits, printing being more accessible, and the community at large, and doing these the presentations. Like, you know, Armando's got the bug thing going. Like, I think that's gonna like bring a whole lot of people together, and doing the same thing and getting that feeling of building stuff for a reason, like for, you know, being together and putting your own spin on it. Um, I can see that being like a real bigger thing, and sending out your finished build and seeing it displayed at a show. Like when I did that Corvair, that was like kind of like a core memory thing, you know, is getting to join in on that. Um, and not like just as much for the reason of it building a cool car that I hadn't built before and learning all about them, but being a part of a presentation and talking back and forth with, pardon me, with Armando and other people building them, and that made it like the density of enjoyment was like tenfold instead of just me building alone. So hopefully that as well as, you know, kits being accessible is kind of these togetherness builds. I don't know what to call them, but the presentations being more popular is, I think, going to be a big thing going forward. Because like I know a lot of people, they're gonna build a bug and it's gonna be really cool. You know, so I don't know. You know, what about you? What you talk to lots and lots of people, and you see lots and lots of products having a store. You know, what's the next big thing? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, you know, I feel like you hit it on the nail right there with saying accessibility. I think that's very important. You know, I could think of, let's say, you know, like tools and the kits and everything, but that right there just kind of houses all those categories, especially with the detail parts, because you know, getting a model kit, opening it up, and you want to do a box kit, then you know you're just gonna use what's there. But then when you want to take it to the next level or whatever, you need that access to get the photo etch, to get the tools, to get, you know, everything to want to push it to the next, you know. And you're just making me think, because the first thing I think of when you say accessibility is like Zoom on, you know. Not too long ago, they had made the announcement that they were no longer, for for a time period going to be mailing anything to the US because the post where they're at was just not going to do it no more. And I contact the person running the Zoom on pretty often just to say what's up and like keep me posted, because I normally order from them a lot. And this is like before like those Tamiya Porsches were gonna drop, those 911s,
Yep.
and they
Yep. Yep.
had
Yep.
the P set, and I missed out on that window of opportunity. I could have ordered some and got some of those PE sets in prior to them making their announcement. But I feel like I got a little confident, like thinking, oh, I'll be able to get them later or whatever. Now that I can't get them, I would love to build one of those kits, or I know some of my customers would love to build that kit, but I feel like what's holding them back is the accessibility to be able to get that P set that would definitely enhance that kit. Even later they released even like the interior, like the little carpets and all that fit
Yeah.
perfect in that kit. And you're like, oh man, like what else are you guys gonna come out with, Um, but yeah, like all that stuff, but it definitely comes down to the accessibility, man. That's a really good and good, like just dope answer. Like I really like that answer you gave right there. It's very
All the
true, man.
coffee.
Dang. It,
But yeah,
it,
no, I hope I didn't even know the Zoom on wasn't shipping stateside again. That's crazy because like over here, I just got an order from them from stuff here in Australia, like with no issues, and like um yeah, that sucks because they have some great stuff. They have some really cool like stuff, and they have the the light up Japanese license plate kit set, like challenging stuff. Like you say, you want to push it to the next level of like trying new things. And that's something I'd been looking at for a long time was the because I'm scared of soldering. Like the amount of time I've got like liquid in my eyes at the bench, like paint and glue and all that. The last thing I want is like melted metal, in my eyes. So I'm really scared of soldering, but I got it to like you say, push myself with builds and try new things and hopefully like at some stage you can get it again because like they're not it doesn't look like they're slowing down, does it? But I had no idea that they were doing interior carpets for that new Porsche kit. But I've seen a lot of products for that kit come out. Scale Production I think does some wheels for it. Tamiya does their own PE kit for it, I think, don't they? So yeah, no, that's crazy. Hopefully you can get sorted out and you can get more Zoom on stuff because yeah, they're great. Now I feel like a bit pompous bringing them up, knowing that they're not available. But yeah, hopefully soon. But
yeah,
you know,
I'm sure they'll come around later. They will. It's just the time being they can't, but they usually even like during the pandemic, they had made an announcement during that time. They pinned their post saying like, right now we currently can't ship. But then later, once they started shipping again, they started still noting down which countries they weren't shipping to, because
yes,
there
yes,
wasn't
yes.
wasn't an access to it. But then they would say, but these countries we could ship to, they are accepting our packages. So I feel like
Right, okay.
eventually we'll be on that list again, you know,
Got
and
you,
I'll be
got you,
able
got
to
you.
pull in some of their stuff to have it out here. But yeah, like aside from the accessibility, I would say more adding like LEDs to the builds. Um, I would really I've been looking at HIQ parts from Japan. I'm gonna be getting some of their tools in and some of their stuff, but I've been exploring more of their catalog uh, of what my distributor offers through them, and I've been noticing that they do have LED like chip light sets where I think a pack has like two LEDs in it. But the way they set it up is everything plugs into
Got you.
like the
Plug and
little
play.
ports into a battery pack, or you could even plug it into a C drive. So like,
Uh-huh.
let's say if you want to plug in a C USB or whatever into the wall or whatever, you could even run it like that, right? Um, But some of the setups that I was exploring from watching some of the videos is you could get some lights that either stand still or they even like blink, like they flicker. And it'll say like how many seconds they're flickering. So imagine like somebody doing a build and then they decide, all right, on this build, I'm gonna have two lights flickering at the same time, like the turn signal light, you know?
Yep, 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 yep.
And you do maybe you do a backdrop, a diorama where it's like a box, and in the box you make it look dark or whatever. Because you go to these model shows and the lights are lit up from top. So these models are like, they got lighting, but let's say you want to bring it into like a dark kind of vibe, like it's like, I haven't seen anybody do like a night theme for a diorama, you know? So that'll be imagine like a big box where you have to like look through it
Yeah, you
and be
look through
like,
the viewfinder. Yeah, 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 like a penny
yeah,
arcade.
and you're like, damn, look what's inside. From the outside it just looks like a box, but when you look in, you're able to see the scope of it all. But
That'd
anyway,
be sick. Yeah,
in
no,
the
that'd
in
be
the
cool.
lighting though, things like that kind of flicker. There was one where they demoed it was like a Japanese police vehicle. So they had all the red lights at the top, the ones in the front, all moving in different motions. And it made it look very realistic. I was like, yo, like this is dope. So that even let's say if you added a little bit of somehow some audio, like a little siren or or a radio, like playing music. I know a lot of people add music and stuff to the RC cars, but if we could see that in a 124 scale, 125th scale, but to the point where the challenging part would be to be able to add all that, be able to hide everything, but still be able
Yeah.
to add the stuff in the trunk, like a trunk setup, an engine, let's say, or an interior. Or who knows, maybe you say, all right, we're not going to open the hood, the bonnet stays closed because that's where we're going to have to put everything in there, because this
Yeah,
battery
because
pack's
it's
too
cram
big.
everything in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
on that the Corvair, I wanted to add a light bar, and I just took apart this little, I think it was like a Halloween toy or something that flashed like rainbow colors, and I was gonna do like a spare tire and stuff in the front of it, but like um when the idea got in my head to like add a light bar, I'm like, oh wow, the engine's in the back of this car. I can just cram it like in the front, like all messy, like I don't have to like do it nicely because that part's never gonna be seen. But like with what it sounds like HIQ is doing with their plug and play, stuff that just takes another like fairly involved process of soldering, and not a lot of people, well, I don't think like a lot of people would want to do that if they're anything like me and they're like a scared tiny baby when it comes to like molten metal. But yeah, plug and play, it sounds good. The Gundam dudes seem to do a lot of it. They even have sets where doesn't it just like plug straight into the head? Like I think it is it a Zaku? The dude like with the Cylon eye, or whatever. They just have a thing you can just like put right in there, and imagine that for cars. Like here's a like plug and play head wire set, and they have like a little bit of extra wire that's a bit too long, so you can run it to the back and the front. And yeah, no, that'd be really cool. I'd love to see more light stuff in cars. And if there's more easier products that keep the like glowing red hot iron poker away from me, that's awesome in my book for sure. 100%. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, because I feel like the plug and play aspect of the lights coming into this is just like a precursor for someone to want to later get into like soldering and all that, right? Because in the beginning, you're like, all right, everything's plug and play. Let me have the wires and everything. I put the little on switch right here. It is where you can turn it off and all that, and you get inspired, but then over time you're gonna realize, man, every time I'm gonna add this to a build, it's getting expensive every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah,
So eventually you're gonna see online on Amazon or wherever, oh man, they got, a 30 pack or a 40 pack or whatever of a lot of these little chip LEDs, and then I could buy, yards of cord
yeah.
and a football field of accords, you know, and everything for cheap. That all I got to do is just measure where it's gonna start, where it's gonna end, cut it here, cut it there, and then I just need a solder, and I'm in, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all
yeah.
it's gonna take. And then just figure out, all right, my little battery pack, my little switches right here. Um,
You're gonna run it up the sides of the body and put some tape over it so it's in there forever and all that sort of stuff, and have the battery accessible and a switch somewhere. And yeah, no, it's something I want to do more of, but like I know if I get too involved in it, I'll never finish it, kind of thing. That's why I like the sound of those plug and play things. They sound really good. Because I think like I would overdo it with the cheap stuff. I'll just end up with like hundreds of everything. And be like, yay, now I can make hundreds of them and never make a single one. Just go like I feel better knowing that I could if I wanted to, you know. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely like LEDs and more. Like I like your idea with like the penny arcade thing. Like you could have like an old, like a bootlegger's like loading up their truck with the whiskey or the moonshine or whatever it is, and you look through the little thing and it's like got the guys going wah, stuff on the inside. That'd be really cool. I'd love to see more stuff like that for sure. I've seen it done with Gundams, kind of like, but they had a macro lens, those really long, thin camera lenses, and it poked into the thing's chest or whatever it was, and there was tiny little people standing around in it like a spaceship. But that for model cars and adding a more, I don't know, like interactive element maybe, or like a viewing interactive thingy would be really cool. I think that's a cool idea. Let me know when it's done.
yeah, you're like, all right, dude, do it, and just show me when it's done. Man,
For
that's
sure.
funny. Yeah, even like when Armando was showing me his Corvair, how it rolls,
Yeah.
even that,
What a flex.
I was like, all right, dang, like I'm over here, like, should I make mine roll now too? You know,
Yeah.
like, man, next thing you know, we're gonna be
Yeah.
buying little bearings, and then it's like
Yeah.
eight big five, eight big seven, like, who's this
Oh God,
faster?
yeah. Yeah, I bet it's not far away. They do that for die casts. Like Hot Wheels, they have like the little dyno like
Hmm.
machine things, and you put it
Yeah.
on there and it rolls the wheels. Yeah, yeah. I don't think that's very far away at all. Of people. And a guy like Armando is going to be like first on it, just to flex on everyone. Like, yeah, this is normal for me. We're all sitting there like, wow. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's going to be some crazy stuff, I think. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, people flexing hard.
Yeah, I've been paying attention to those aside from car model kits, those like Kruger or Krugen kits, those MAK. Remember the it's like the kind of mecha looking kits with like a person that goes inside of the figurine.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. The thing you showed
Yeah.
me the other day. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I always want to say like Kruger, like almost like Freddy Krueger.
yeah.
Whenever I see
Yeah,
the title of it, but I don't think it's pronounced like that.
right. Yeah, it has that like Soviet vibe, like Soviet era mechs, sort of like behind the Iron Curtain like stuff. Yeah, they look so cool. I never like I've seen those kits a lot, but I'd never seen like what kit it was from. Like I've seen people build them. Because it's the one with like the big hatch on the top, sort of that opens. On the head of it, yeah. They'd be cool to see you do one of those and weather it up with some of those pencils and markers and stuff. I think that's kind of what they're made for. Hey.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of one of the what piques my interest in those kind of kits. I've never built one, but I feel like it's like a starting point for like weathering. You see all these different artists like working on them, and I've seen them at some of the IPMS shows, and I'm always like, wow, like they make the plastic look like metal from all the
Yeah, yeah,
weathering, and it just looks, some of the bodies on those figures look kind of funky, then look kind of cool at the same time. And I'm like man, it's just very bizarre. Like I really want to try it out. Like try to do one of those and learn a little bit more about like weathering and not feel intimidated, Just kind of jump in there and try to learn a bit about just experimenting and just seeing like how the outcome will be on those builds.
Yeah, it was like when I started looking at the Gunpla way back in the olden days. Now it's the olden days during the pandemic and stuff. And we would like send back and forth all these crazy like ones we'd see. And the one I always gravitated towards was the Haro, which is just the little ball guy because it looked easy to do. It looked and you kind of get a feel for like the design language that they use for those things and the fit and the finish and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, with those more, I can't get the word like Soviet era out of my head, but like those ones that you're talking about, the Kruger or whatever, they look a little bit more like less intimidating than like a huge big like mech like gunplug guy with like 4 million parts that all have to be painted and the same. But yeah, they look really cool and they look less Gundamy and more like I don't know, like you said, funky. They look funky. They look really cool. Hopefully you like grab one and show us. And then we'll all be like going, "Hey, God, where did you get it? I want one too. I want to build one." But yeah, no, yeah, it's gonna be cool. And to use something like that for weather practice,
Mm,
um, there's a lot of spillover, I think, from the war guys to the Gunpla guys to those ones. Like those kits seem like they're in between that, like tanks and stuff and war, blah, 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 and then space robot fighter guys. You got those in the middle,
yeah,
which is cool. I can't wait to see it. Like when you try something new and show us all and how they go together. So
yeah.
you can take the risk, you know.
No, yeah, I definitely want to do it. Yeah, shout out to Chester. He's on here, Bullet 187. He said
Cool.
he said that they're called it's called Machining Krieger is the
Right. Okay.
yeah,
Krieger.
and then it's MA and then dot K and then dot yeah, he says he uses AK paints and pencils for those. So he's got a
Cool.
couple of them. So shout outs to him. Earlier on here, wanted to shout out Left Coast Modelcar Builds. I don't know if he's still on, but he was on earlier. He joined the chat on there and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah, that was that
Cool.
was
Cool. Cool.
that was pretty cool. Um, Let me see right here. But yeah, um, I definitely want to get them. They're like 1/20th scale, those figures. So I've seen they do, I think it's even like 1/35th scale, but I believe the 1/20th is by far like the more popular amongst
Got you. Yeah.
the actual figurines and stuff like that. Because I do see those available and then I see them sell out pretty fast. And I really don't know how rare they are though, if
Right.
how
Yeah.
mass
Yeah. Yeah. Got
produced
to
they
jump on
are.
them.
Yeah, yeah, that's the vibe I kind of get from those, if it's something like, oh man, we gotta like cop these right away or whatever,
Yeah.
Um,
They can't keep up with the people wanting them with the production.
yeah, yeah, and then let's see. So, earlier today, before we started the podcast, um I was at work and stuff, and then we DM a lot, we chat and stuff, and then you had hit me up, you sent me you had forwarded me a post, and when I saw it I was like, oh dang, and I felt bad, because I saw the post, and this was a post regarding a model builder, an artist that passed away earlier today or yesterday. We're not too sure, but I know that this post was
I think
was
it was the fifth. I think.
yeah, and his Instagram is at Mike's underscore model works, and I saw the post, I read it, and uh I don't know if it's his wife or girlfriend, someone posted it, and to let everybody know, that he had passed away. He had pancreatic cancer. And I was like, oh man, rest in peace to him.
Yeah. Rest in peace, dude, for sure.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I felt bad, I was like, man, it's sad, I had a family member pass away from that too, so it's something that's quick, and I know, like when you get that, it's really sad. There's really no like cure for anything like that. I did, before we started the podcast, I did go back on Instagram to check, and one of the groups that I want to mention here too, it's at tribute underscore model works, is putting together like pretty much a tribute group build and in remembrance for him. So if you guys that are on Instagram want to check that out, please look up at tribute underscore model works, and follow them, read the description and read like their latest post regarding that build that they're going to be doing. That's going to be a tribute, a dedication to Mike. So please check that out right there, in case if you guys want to participate in something like that. In case if you can't participate or anything, just share it. Let others know, bring more awareness to it right there. But condolences, to his family and his loved ones, and also rest in peace to him as well. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It comes out of nowhere, doesn't it? And I was looking at Mike's page, and he's built some incredible models. Like people should go check out the work that he's done. He did lots of different genres and types, and a really skilled model builder. It's really terrible. Definitely condolences to his friends and family for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I did see he did do a lot of like JDM stuff. I was following him, and he was also like following us back, but I never got to like chop it up with him. Like I never had gotten that opportunity to ever, because the world in Instagram now, there's just so many people now. There's new accounts, and
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
different
yeah.
people coming in. And through the years, you start meeting people and you start chopping it up and you keep it together, and then you start noticing like, oh wait, we got mutual friends and everything like that. Um, I know I don't know for how long he had been on, but I was trying to backtrack to see, and I didn't see, you know, I couldn't really tell you like how many years back, but I did notice like a lot of really cool like JDM stuff, a lot of like cool Chevy stuff too. That I was like, damn, like a lot of this stuff, he did was awesome right there.
Yeah, really, really cool. Exploring like all the different worlds of like automotive stuff,
Yeah.
which was great. He has a drag car RX-7 with
Mhm.
Hitachi down the side, which is really really cool. It's awesome. He had some great builds. His one of his more recent ones was a Skyline. I think it was a blue Z tune, um, which was man just really cool. The paintwork was just immaculate, absolute glass. Um, and I definitely like to see what people do, inspired by his work, with the memorial build off, whenever it may happen. I'm not sure because I don't know. You just sent me this just before the build off memorial page. But
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully people are inspired by his work. 'Cause he was definitely a absolutely magnificent model builder. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but we'll keep sharing his social media like posts and stuff in the at, so this way, you guys could see his stuff on there. But AKC, this was fun, man. Going live, chopping it up and everything. And yeah, we're gonna wrap up the episode right here. It's that time. I hope you had a good time, and
Yeah,
enjoy
for
the
sure.
rest of the day as well. I had a blast talking to you as well. And I also wanted to shout out everybody that was on here too, that was in the chat room and everything. So thank you guys, and thank you, Casey.
No worries. Super fun. Super fun.
All right, man. Well, we'll keep in contact later. We'll talk, and but yeah, man, we'll bring you back again.
Cool. Thanks for having me on
Cool.
the podcast.
Yeah.
Super, super, super
Definitely,
cool.
bro. All right, man.